could imagine a world without internet and mobiles. Meanwhile, the internet is today for us like looking at TV, telephoning, cleaning the teeth. Meanwhile, however, 26 million Germans clean their teeth twice daily and gargle, and they Google 5 times daily. So that's the difference. And when I ask my students, since when do we have internet, they answer 50 years, 60 years. So they cannot imagine a world without internet. Innovations drive the online business, and online business is, despite the economical crisis, still fast growing. And development is always faster, and a day doesn't go by when there is not published something in the newspapers about the internet. So yesterday and 2 days ago I found interesting articles about Web 2.0, a survey from Google and Future Foundation, things like this. So very interesting every day in the Frankfurter Allgemeine, for example. Meanwhile, the new online retailing is taking place in comparison to the initial years of the e-commerce on a very high evolutionary level. So the online retailing is experiencing a third phase, as the FATS newspaper wrote last year, after the stormy initial years in the first phase and its rebirth after the collapse and breakdown of the new economy 10 years ago, I suppose, or 11 years ago. The online business is growing faster than ever, and I would say we have already started, as we have heard yesterday, with the phase number 4, which is mobile internet. I will not distinguish between mobile internet and desktop internet in my presentation, because from my point of view, I would say when the mobile concept is okay, the desktop concept will also be okay. So I was very lucky to be able to experience all 3 phases close up. The first phase 14 years ago, when I was in the position in the management circle of the Douglas Group to discuss a question, do plus online. And then came the first inception boom, the second phase, as head of the Competence Center Trade and Consumer Goods at Dröge & Company. And I happily remember a big project with Bertelsmann during the height of the new economy. The theme was the integration of Bertelsmann Book Club and BOL, and it didn't function, and today I know quite well why. The third phase is currently taking place in research projects as well as consulting projects, and also a lot of publications. And the fourth phase I will experience as member of the supervisory board of Buch.de. I was elected 2 weeks ago. So, how is the situation today on the market? In case of the most traders, it is so that the FATS newspaper wrote last year in an article which was named President 2.0, who moved with his own community, www.mybarackobama.com, into the White House against the internet illiterate McCain, who never himself was in the internet, and who wondered himself, what the hell is going on here? So, and it's nearly the same situation in a lot of German retailing companies. Still, in the top management position, we have a lot of internet illiterates who decide about the investments. So, what the hell is going on? Sorry, we see here. Meanwhile, we have 1.7 billion internet users worldwide. The big internet nations, China, have a lot of Chinese students. Only 22% penetration rate, so there's a huge potential. The US, of course, Japan, India, I have also a lot of Indian students. Brazil and Germany with 55 million internet users, but we have to distinguish, I will show later, because the usage is quite different. And a third, or more than a third, of those internet users are members of social networks. And I saw this week the new number, 500 million members, Facebook members, and it's still growing and growing. MySpace, the German networks, VZ networks, so due to the numbers, more than half of the German internet users are members of social networks. And even if a retailer hasn't started with online retailing, he cannot refuse that people are chatting about him, about experiences, and I would like to know what people are chatting about. So, we have a very different usage in Europe. So this was an actual survey from the European Consumer Study in 2009 from the GfK. They have asked 10,000 internet users all over Europe, and you see we have a kind of digital splitting in Europe. So the usage in Germany due to emails and chatting is average, but the Web 2.0 usages like instant messaging, social networking, own contents is quite behind the average usage, and you see also the benchmarks. Interesting, Poland, Great Britain, and Russia. Russia is also coming. And the article here about this survey, Future Foundation survey, is giving the same hint here. So we have still a huge potential in Germany, and people are always surprised when I show the figures here, because what you see normally in the newspapers are figures about the online retailing. We have a growth. We have had a growth which was 50.6% in 2009. So 15.5 billion revenue with online retailing due to goods, and when we add services like ticketing, we have 22 billion revenue. So CEO from a big German retailing group phoned me and told me, what's the problem with 4 or less than 4% share? The total retailing market has something like 390 billion. So what's the problem? And I explained here that we have to add online travel. In 2008, 17 billion. 40% of the travel market is online. We have also to add DSL fees, 13.5 billion in 2009, in 2008 12 million. From my point of view, it's online revenue. Cars, automobiles, C2C, used cars in minimum 10 to 12 billion. Media contents, look to the newspapers and publishing groups, what's happening at the moment. Online banking, 42 million accounts, Giro accounts are online. We have 91 million in total, so it's more than 45%. And intermediation, eBay contracting, etc., 8 billion in 2008. So altogether, 87 billion in 2008. And this is a figure which has grown to more than 100 million, 10% of the private consumer, without accommodation expenditures, 10%. And that's why I wouldn't refuse as a retailer this figure, because this is potential revenue for the retailers. This is an argument for the retailers who haven't started with online retailing. So you see on the right side that we have still a huge potential when we focus on the target groups. It is very different. So we have also here digital splitting in Germany. 35% are digital outsiders. Internet literates, a lot of top managers, the secretary is printing out emails, and they have never used internet. Seldom users, once a month, 2 times a year, 30%, and then 35% are remaining. I would call those target groups heavy users, 35%. So we have trend users, occupational users, digital professionals, and the tops, digital avant-garde, and the digital natives are coming, so 12, 13 years old, and those digital natives will buy more and more. So also here, the retailers cannot refuse this, and they are becoming more and more business capable. They are still young, so in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they are buying online. So the products people are searching, looking for on the internet, that's quite surprising. The top 10 fast-moving consumer goods brands. 5 from the top 10 are fast-moving consumer goods. Hygiene, books, dental hygiene, non-alcohol drinks, dairy products. People are looking for, but in most cases they cannot buy those products because still the food retailers are refusing to launch an online shop. And I would say what we have seen the last 15 years was only the starter, and the main menu is still coming. So when we look to the categories, so the question, which categories people buy in Germany in the internet, it's always surprising that textiles and apparels with 5.2 billion is the biggest category. So that it grows 11.7%, including the Quelle effect, because Quelle, you know, went bankrupt last year with 650 million online revenue, or 700 million, and most of this was apparel. So without Quelle, because of the price reductions and sales off, I would say more than 12%. Media is coming again, 19.1%. Books, 1.2%. And always surprising is that we see categories like do-it-yourself and automobile and motorbike accessories like car tires. So you might know a company, Delticom from Hannover, more than 300 million revenue just with tires. 10% of the German rebuy tire market is online. So this is quite surprising. And I would say there is no category which you cannot sell online. I told the managing director from Hagebau, Mr. Baumgart, you would have not imagined 10 years ago that one day a chimney could be sold via internet. And he said, 20,000 the last Christmas season, 20,000 chimneys. It's unbelievable. So when I go back here, from my point of view, I would say the stationary retail trade in Germany has the far biggest potential because the stationary retailers have the far most customers, of course, and those customers demand more and more channel hopping. So they are hopping between the channels, OPPO, research online, purchase offline, or research offline and purchase online more and more. So the channel hopping possibility, I would say, is increasingly a critical success factor, and the problem is, from my point of view, that the majority of the top chain stores, and I've analyzed, however, don't have an online shop. In textile retailing, 60% of the biggest retailers don't have an online shop, 60%. And it's nearly the same in all categories. And the remaining 40 or 50% which have an online shop have a really, let me say, far behind online shop, because a lot of functions are missing. It takes time, so the loading time, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, So there are really very few German retailers who have a really excellent online shop. So the problem is, as I mentioned, the top trade managers are often internet illiterates, and in this article, when I see let me say, the ideas of the employees in the companies, also with Web 2.0, are blocked by the top managers, it's proving my thesis here. But it shows with still huge potential, because the next generation is coming. The pre-digitals are pushing out the internet illiterates, and the digital natives are becoming more and more business capable. So a big and huge potential. Interesting is here to see that also stationary traders and retailers cannot refuse internet, because also the stationary customers are using internet to prepare their buy, the internet. And here you see it was a survey from the ECC Institute from the University of Cologne. 23.4% of the stationary customers are searching before they buy in the internet, info search. And also surprising is that 10.7% are getting their buying impulse in the internet before they buy in the shop. And many retailers always say, oh, cannibalization problem. Yes, we have cannibalization, of course. 13.9% of the online revenue is coming from the stationary business. Yes, of course. But opposite, the 10.7% which is coming from the online buying reports is much more. So when I take 370 billion stationary retail revenue in Germany and compare those effects, the saldo is, of course, or the balance, the offline balance is very positive here. So, ROPO, research online, purchase offline. Here we see very actual figures from McKinsey and the HHL Institute in Leipzig. So they have analyzed and asked buyers, stationary buyers for CE products, consumer electronics, which information channels you are using before the stationary purchase. And of course, the shop, the offline business, the windows, of course, the people in the shop are really important. 80% say yes, this is the channel we are using. But when you look to the next channels, online shops, other websites, social networks, producer websites, and you add those figures, and when you then ask the consumers which channel is your preferred channel, then you see on the right side that 50%, in 50% of all cases, the consumers prefer meanwhile the internet channel, and by this, the internet channel is much more important than the offline business channel today for stationary customers. So, I ask always a question: when you as a retailer, when you have a website and the customers will come to your website, why sending them away again to purchase maybe at your competitors? Why not giving them the chance to purchase on your website? What's the problem? What's the problem? Because you have not to invest money, you have not to build an infrastructure, so it's quite easy to enable your customers to use your website for online purchases. What's the problem? Maybe internet illiterates. So, interesting question. Web excellence, the question which online shops or online retailers are excellent, and I would define web excellence as winners in e-commerce who perform better as the average and who set the benchmark with their services and the prerequisites for web excellence, of course, is quite different because it depends on the business type, and we have meanwhile a lot of different business types we have to distinguish. So here you see 5 types, and we have also a lot of mixed types, of course, but the pure online retailers, very specialized, and John Donahoe, the CEO from eBay, mentioned in an interview last week that the online market allows room for endless part segments and niches, and this is typical for pure online retailers. So my neighbor is running petshop.de from a seller office, one single person business, it's possible. Gutshopping.de, Buch.de, so very specialized online retailers, and also the shopping clubs from my point of view, like Brands for Friends. They are exploding at the moment, 300, 500% growth. Cooperative online retailing platforms, eBay and Amazon partnerships. Very few people know that meanwhile Amazon is making nearly 40% of its revenue or turnover with in cooperative forms. Wholesalers like Libri or Ronix. This is quite interesting, but a lot of wholesalers like Katak in the textile and apparel business refuse. Maybe they are also internet illiterate, I don't know. Refuse to offer platforms to their customers. Multi-channel retailing. A lot of catalog or distance selling companies naming themselves as multi-channel retailers. No, from my point of view, I would say only the combination of stationary retail and online retail. Electronic online retail is real multi-channel retail. The others I would call hybrid online retailing because they are using the same distance channel. Otto, Neckermann, Lenz and Harvesco, because they don't have shops. And interesting is the combination. Vertical online retailing, the big brands, Esprit, Nike, are offering more and more their products via their online shop. They are launching new online shops, and this group has had the biggest growth last year, more than 50%. Why? Because their customers, the retailers, are refusing this topic, so that's why they have to intermediate that. This will happen, of course. The second biggest growth have had the multi-channel retailers, also nearly 50%. The pure online retailers have had something like 20% plus last year. So, the best practices, and it's interesting because the experts very often come always back to those examples here. So when we distinguish between those business types, the pure online retailers we will not find in Germany. Bon Privé, who is copied by all the German shopping clubs, 700 or more than 700 million revenue. It was founded in 2004, and now Bon Privé is number 3 in fashion retailing in France. Number 3, it's unbelievable. Zappos, category killer in shoes. It was taken over from Amazon last year. Zappos, from my point of view, is best practice, real best practice in online retailing. You should have a look, it's amazing. And it's also profitable, and now Amazon is using, of course, Zappos to build up also, or to offer also on the Amazon platform shoes. So we have analyzed category killer of shoes in Germany is now Amazon with 50,000 shoes they are offering. The next one is offering 14,000, 50,000 different shoes. Amazon. So ASOS, it's an UK online retailer, doubling revenues every year. Last year 105% plus, very profitable, 12 or 13% EBIT, 165 pounds. I don't know the currency relation today in euro. You should have a look because they are offering new contents. Every month they are offering fashion magazine, and the customers are waiting for the new fashion magazine, and it's really super. Also the community, you can chat with Natalie, you can ask her everything. Net-a-Porter, a bit different, but also Net-a-Porter is using a fashion magazine, Node, the name of the fashion magazine Node, one of the best fashion magazines, to attract customers. They have 50%. They've had 50% growth last year, and they are also very profitable, more than 10% EBIT. And Hughes from Milano, very similar, offering luxury goods from the last season, 50% plus, and something like 120 million euro revenue. So cooperative online retailing, from my point of view, Amazon. And Amazon is investing most of the investments in those cooperative platforms. Etsy, we heard yesterday from Mr. Leonard, Etsy has doubled the revenues last year. It's also interesting because of sustainability, because Etsy is giving very little producers from third world countries the chance to offer their products. And Daticom, because Daticom is using stationary traders as partners, but not tire traders. They're using petrol stations, car dealers, 10,000 different partners, and Daticom has business in now, I suppose, more than 30 countries. They have grown more than 20% last year, and also Daticom, tires, car tires, has more than 10% EBIT margin. It's incredible. So, multi-channel retailing, you see not a German retailer. There is no German retailer.
Yes, there is.
Sorry? I know. Great bit, but you are in best practice. You have to learn something. No, next, UK, 3.4 billion pounds revenue, 15% EBIT. Next directory, 20% EBIT. Nearly 30% of revenue, meanwhile, is online, 30%. Topshop belongs to the Arcadia Group, 2 billion revenue last year, 420 shops. And the best online shop you can see in the UK, focusing very young customers, really good, really good. You should have a look. Ray, you know Ray? Recreational Equipment Incorporation. Ray is what Globetrotter tries to copy. Globetrotter is copying Ray. Ray has 1.5 billion revenue and is very profitable. It's a cooperative. It's interesting. The customers are owning this company, and it's really good. The White Company, 80 million pounds, very young, and it's an interesting niche because they are offering only white products, white textiles, white apparels, white furniture. Really interesting and very harmonized. So when you have a look into the stores, they have 30, 40 stores, fast growing. 30% of the revenue is made offline, 30% internet, online, and 30% catalog sale, or 35%. So hybrid online retailing, N Brown, UK, distance selling, 700 million revenue, 15% EBIT. JP Bowden, quite young, 200 million, also 12% EBIT. Fast growing, and Lands' End. Lands' End, you should know, founded the same day, the online channel, as the same day then Amazon has done, in 1995. And they have invented a lot of standards you are using in fashion retail. So now, vertical online retailers, from my point of view, mass customization online retailers, open innovation online retailers like My Muesli, Spreadshirt, founded from Leipzig students in 2002. Now they are billionaires. Nike ID, You can configure your sports shoe and tailor store, mass customized shirts. They have business in 30 countries, quite young, 8 years old, really good. So I've analyzed those best practices and I've used this pyramid. It looks a bit complicated, but what I have to say is I've analyzed everything, or I tried to analyze everything in those companies, top down. I'm always using my students, my English speaking master students coming from 27 different countries. So I have projects, research projects, looking for the best practices worldwide, a benchmark study. So one group is searching in the US and South America, one group is searching in Europe, and one group always is searching in Asia. And it's interesting, in Asia we're getting more and more very interesting online retailers. So from my point of view, web excellent online shop, in this case, who is reflecting the success factors in online retailing, and I talk about 8S success factors, not 7S, you know 7S, that's why I have 8S success factors. Growth in minimum 50% in most cases, and profitability. Most of those best practices have 10%, more than 10% EBIT margin in combination. You know, it's not easy when you are fast growing to be very profitable. So, what are they doing? Others don't do. The first success factor from my point is shop attraction. Shop attraction, you need a unique attraction to attract customers because we have no locations, you know, three success factors in stationary retailing: location, because you need frequency, traffic. You don't have in online retailing, so that's why you have to create your own traffic. It's an interactive medium, and that's why we need something special, really special. And from my point of view, at least you should have one of those killer differentiation factors. First of all, a killer product, others don't have, or a killer category, 50,000 shoes, so to be a category killer, like Zappos, or maybe you have an interesting private label you can use, or an exclusive label, exclusive brand to attract people. Second, killer price, but take care. This factor are using the club shops. They are offering luxury brands with 70% sales off. So this means a real killer price, not just 10% price reductions. Killer features, and this is the far most important differentiation factor more and more. Killer feature means contents, like Azos and Net-a-Porter, fashion magazines, communities, and yesterday we've heard with advertising, advertising, advertising. So to give something special others don't have. And number 4 is also getting more and more important, killer services like Zappos, returns for free. You can see on the first website, returns for free even after 2 years, or a call back button. Amazon is offering, I tried it, you can push it, after 1 minute they are calling back. They called me back after 21 seconds, and it's an excellent, really excellent service they are offering. So, number 2, social targeting and society, the use of communities and social networks. Mr. Leonard mentioned social oxygen. Modern animation, it functions a bit like animation in a club. Modern animation. To found a community is not easy. Many have tried this, I know, but it's really complicated, and what you need is a community manager. It's a new job. Brands for Friends has had a chaos in its community. Mr. Heidmeier told me, and they have hired the community manager from StudiVZ, who is now leading the community. and now they are really successful. So the community needs leadership, and it needs a concept. So here you see on the next chart, we have a lot of different possibilities for a community concept. So you have first to distinguish on the right side, if you're using a primary company internal competencies, like the marketing leaders, the big brands, eBay and Amazon, or maybe Google and Expedia, no retailers, but I would also position them there, marketing leaders. Or if we are using primary community internal competencies, so companies like Magento or Spreadshirt or Lego Factory or Ray, some of those have been founded out of a community. So Lego Factory was some years ago a community, and they developed business out of this community. And then in the middle, I would call them opinion pollsters like Zappos and Dukes, others that are portés, so in between, they have both sides. And then you have to distinguish if you're using or you want to use the community primary for a client acquisition or a client retention, a service innovation or service support. It is very different, and you should have a concept and somebody who is responsible. So number 3, service and search solutions, excellent self-service and navigation solutions. The online customer is sitting alone at home and he has millions of options. So that's why he needs a good solution to be able to find what he's looking for. Speed and pace beats perfection. Numbers you need to get to your target, questions you can ask which will be answered. So yesterday we heard be clear and be ready. So 8 important usability problems. This is quite old, it's 4 or 5 years old, but still a lot of online retailers refuse this. Links that do not change their color if they are being visited, or foiling off the function back to button. A lot of online customers are getting always in the nirvana. They don't know where they are, they cannot find back. Opening of new browsers, windows, pop-up windows, so you have to fight against all these design elements which look like advertisements, a breach of web-wide accepted conventions. So the general business conditions, it's interesting. A lot of online retailers don't know. I don't know why. They have a lot of different general business conditions to care about. Text bubbles and empty hypes and. So, success factor number 4, singularity, focus, customization, and personalization. We know we can track the customers. We cannot track them in the stationary retailing. So, one-to-one marketing, a real dialogue, and I would say be smart. Be smart. Here, you know, we have had mass marketing in the stationary retailing. We have mass marketing, classical advertising. The customers are coming, but 50% is wasted, we just heard. And now we can practice one-to-one marketing and practice a real online dialogue. And this is a really opportunity we should use. And I would also recommend as a feature, a marketing feature or a killer feature, to use mass customization. So we have some different possibilities. We need to be vertical to practice development to order or engineer to order. It means to design the product like Taylor Store Spreadshirt, because we have to produce this product. We have to be vertical. Or assembly to order, like Nike, configuration of products or sport shoes with pre-produced components. And possible for all retailers is match to order or locate to order. Finishing, maybe to print a photo from your girlfriend, from your pet, on your t-shirt, whatever you want. It's possible, and this is a real killer feature you should avoid. So number 5, system and supply chain excellence. it's complex, of course. We have to manage this complexity. Pace and speed, 24 hours is accepted. 48 hours delivery or lead time is a problem. After 3 weeks, the customers have forgotten that they have ordered. Overnight express is standard today. Douglas is offering, I know, my neighbor has had a problem because the cream for the next day was empty. I told her offer overnight express, so at 8 o'clock in the evening she ordered, and it was delivered at 7 o'clock in the morning before breakfast. She was happy. It's not easy, especially for stationary retailers. You know, it's a matter of organization, because the conventional perception is to have labor devices, to have departments, to have a typical purchasing department, logistic department, marketing department, and sales department, kingdoms with big boundaries. But what we need in online retailing is the right side. We need the fulfillment of the contract, the perfect fulfillment, and this means a 90-degree shift of the organization, from the vertical to the horizontal. And here also, from my point of view, benchmark is Amazon. I was lucky to work 2 years with Philipp Hung, who was managing director from Amazon Germany, and he explained me that Amazon is thinking in terms of the customer value delivery chain. So here you see the typical steps a customer is using when he buys something. The website, promptness, speed, pace, 0.7 seconds or 0.6 seconds is benchmark. Zappos is top 1 because in the US you see rankings. How long does it take to get the website? Up-to-date overview recommendation, so self-service. Or offering 3 clicks to your goal, individual client guidance. Pricing is interesting, not to get surprised in the basket at the end. To know before which price is coming. Price transparency and risk reduction, or logistics here, 24 hours cycle time, delivery time. If it's not possible, the customers do understand when you are out of stock, but please keep the delivery promise and the time. Or customer service, here emailing or phone within 1 minute, simple returns management. So this is the main reason why people don't buy via internet, because they are afraid what to do when I don't want this product. You have to inform them. Amazon does. And marketing, so loyalty programs, retention marketing, etc. Success factor number 6 is also important, security standards and reputation. Why? Because this is from 2007, but still valid. It shows the security concerns of the customers are the most important reason for not buying over the internet. Concerns about the credit card, concerns about reclamations and returns, concerns about data protection. Why not informing the customer on the first website? Hey, we know it's a problem. You can do this, you can do this, to offer options and to use this topic offensively and not defensively. Next, number 7, success factor, supportive sales and communication channels, multi-channel solutions. Some pure online retailers have already started to open shops. And maybe you know Argos. It's a big UK CE retailer who was 10 years ago a pure distance selling retailer who has opened 700 shops the last 10 years. And now 75% of the revenue is made stationary. So it's always better to offer also this option for customers. And I've heard that the Otto Group will make 50% of its revenue in 2020 stationary. This is coming. Channel hopping, you know, you are practicing. So success factor number 8, sourcing concept. sourcing concept, and especially outsourcing, you know better than me, but most of the retailers are afraid we have to invest, we have to build up an infrastructure. No, it's not necessary today because we have excellent fulfillment providers and the successful internet online retailers are naked companies, pure naked companies. I wouldn't build up infrastructures, especially when you want to grow fast. No, it doesn't make sense. So there are a lot of fulfillment providers. The problem is maybe to choose the right one. And I recommend always to take two, one for frontline and one for back office, front office and back office too, because this might be not easy, but they are enough who are experienced. So what will bring the future? I would say channel hopping, especially for stationary traders. This is the far biggest potential I mentioned, because more and more customers are practicing channel hopping from channel to channel. So and on the left side you see an example. A customer is getting a product he or she has ordered online, and then he or she has a complaint. And then the customer brings the product back into the next shop, wherever the shop is. Here, I bought from you, it's not what I wanted. And then, very often, happens that the person in the shop says, no, that's not from us. You haven't bought here. No, we are not selling this product. Yes, I've bought from you. No, where? In your online shop. Oh, the online shop. That's not me. That's our sister. But they are using the same name, and this is always a problem. So when you are using the same brand name, take care, because of potential consumer confusion. So you need to have assortment concept, a solution. The customer understands. It must not be the same assortment, but you have to mark assortments the customer can only buy and return in the online channel. So channel hopping affords it. Branding, that's interesting. A lot of retailers, stationary retailers, are very proud of their flagship store, the new flagship store. A lot of marble and gold and 10 million invested in the city at the Köln. And the online shop? Nothing. Not moving pictures, black and white pictures, very ugly, but the same brand name. It's stupid. I would say the flagship store you have to build up in the internet. Some retailers ask me, you mean we have to show the photos from our flagship store in the internet? No! Internet illiterate. CRM, also interesting point. You might know or remember Karstadt. Karstadt.de, head of Karstadt.de told me we never had a chance because the addresses were administrated from our sister, the department store company. We didn't have access. So, central CRM, cross-channel CRM. Missing connection, so a big topic still is the Warenwirtschaftssystem, inventory system. There are very few solutions. It's not easy to enable all combinations. You can buy offline, you are delivered, you want to get the product to be sent at home or in the shop, or you order in the shop, you come to the shop next day. So hundreds of different combinations, and this needs, of course, to have a solution with your inventory system. It's not easy. So, I would say, to come to the end, the internet growth cannot be prevented because the infrastructure in Germany is still very problematical. We have the red light in Europe with 16.2% growth rate compared to the other EU countries, and this depends on the infrastructure, because the turbo broadband connection is just 27%, so other countries are far better like Denmark or the Netherlands. So we have only 10 million VDSL turbo network connections. So at home I have DSL connection, but I have only 384 kbit connection rate, which is called farmer's DSL, our DSL. So average broadband stationary less than 1 Mbit. And the German Chancellor has announced to develop this until 2014. We have still 4 years that 75% of all households will have more than 50 Mbit, but you have to invest 40 billion. So it would be interesting, but my point is there is so much pressure that the politicians cannot refuse to develop this infrastructure, and because of this developed infrastructure, we cannot avoid internet growth in future. So my last sentence is that the time to enter this market has never been better, because on one side the premium and the investments of the pioneers have been paid. We know how it functions, we know how it works, and on the other side the windfalls, especially in the online retail market, are not divided yet. We have only 4% penetration rate. Look to other industries, online banking, traveling, 40% and more. So this will come the next years, and that's why the next 2 years, I would say, is the best time to enter the market. Thank you very much.